This is my Module 8, Discussion 1 Booktalk on the New Art and Science of Teaching Writing by Robert Marzano. Marzano's The New Art and Science of Teaching Writing is a great resource for English and language art teachers when they are looking to evaluate and sometimes break down their own grading and teaching skills to rebuild them more effectively. I did not finish reading it, but from what I can tell, this text is fast and there is a lot to digest. Marzano was very specific in the organization of this text and uses a hierarchical and categorical order to help students and teachers understand his material. His three broad categories, feedback, content, and context, are then broken into 10 design areas, which Marzano purposely weaves throughout his other books, which you can find on page 1 through 6 of this text. The primary organization of this book focuses on the three categories, however, page 6. Throughout the text, he identifies hundreds of teaching methods that, according to the introduction, can be classified under 43 elements. The first three are rubric creation or scales, tracking student progress, and celebrating success. Marzano says these all go hand in hand. According to him on page 11, scales and rubrics are essential for students to track their progress, and tracking progress is necessary for celebrating success. Marzano also includes helpful ways that students can construct their own evaluation process and that of their fellow students, as seen in this quote from chapter 1. For example, students measure worked examples, element 9 in chapter 4, page 55, student and published writing examples against the criteria and complete a revision sheet aligned to the criteria to self-assess and review a peer's writing against the expectations, element 18 in chapter 6, page 11, which is in the Marzano text on page 22. Marzano is very specific in his teaching advice, documenting even further resources in his book, such as proofreading marks, which can be taught to students to use in conjunction with assessing their classmates, which is on page 26. He really provides his teaching examples for all age groups, which is a fantastic aid, especially to new teachers. Seasoned teachers can still learn and practice these teaching styles as well. Marzano emphasizes that the goal of teaching is to get students to reproduce what they have learned. In chapter 3, he even breaks down some of the great ways to teach parts of speech, such as conjunctions. This particular subject has been the primary focus of many of my assignments in this class, so I was very happy to see a section on that. I foresee myself returning often to this text in the future. According to chapter 4, teachers can also use published writing as work samples for students to critique and examine based on a particular purpose for learning, which is on page 60. This was mentioned earlier in the text, and I believe in the introduction or in chapter 1, and I think this is an awesome idea. It gives students a chance to really interact with the text. There is a lot to learn from this text, even the breakdown of what an effective argument it is, pages 84 through 86. Personally, I see myself learning a lot from this text, and so can other prospective or current teachers. The connections to course concepts I have seen are a focus on rubrics, which is chapter 1 of the Marzano text, assessments, which is chapter 2, and quote-unquote conducting a self-audit, which is chapter 9, which is basically evaluating yourself as a teacher. There are many other connections in between, but these are the ones that stick out to me.